Yes, indeed, this is Professor David Steinberg of thesteinbergfiles.com. The vice presidential debate. Do you know who was choosing the questions? You will assume, of course, it was Martha Raddatz, the quote-unquote impartial quote-unquote moderator, but you would be mistaken. It was the ACLU. The Washington Examiner reports in a story released prior to the debate that the ACLU was demanding that Raddatz stand on women's access to reproductive health care. To, quote, tell Martha Raddatz, the debate moderator, to make sure a woman's right to make her personal and private decisions, meaning abortion on demand, isn't ignored when Joe Biden and Paul Ryan debate. And Ms. Raddatz most certainly took them very seriously. Because you know what the final question in the vice presidential debate was, don't you? It was a big setup to demand that Paul Ryan defend his pro-life views. And then giving Joe Biden the last word to demean Paul Ryan completely unprofessionally like he did all night, and Martha Raddatz just sat back and enjoyed the show. Because we know why she was there. She was a hit person. This is somebody who's an old friend of Barack Obama's, dating back to his law school days. He attended the wedding of her and her husband. Her husband was one of his closest friends in law school. Also turns out she has something of a relationship with Joe Biden of one sort or another. She's visited him at his home. We don't know what they talked about. Talked about something. That was just earlier this year. She wasn't there to be impartial. She was there to be sure to make sure to do a hit job on Paul Ryan. And, she was pretty good at it. The one thing that made this something like a debate is that her accomplice, Joe Biden, at this stage of his career, isn't competent to run a lemonade stand. So we got to hear a lot from Joe, and frankly, the more you heard from Joe, the more you were praying for Barack Obama's good health, because this guy is a heartbeat away from the presidency, and boy, is that a scary thought. Well, gee, moderators, I didn't know you were taking questions for the debate. I've got a few. You ready? Here we go. How did the Obama administration run up a $5.2 trillion deficit in 4 years? By far the highest deficit per year in the history of the country. That's historic. Why is the deficit over $1 trillion again this year? Why, if Obama is reelected, will it be over $1 trillion next year? Why is the Obama administration stripping out $761 billion out of Medicare for their transformative agenda? Why does the Obamacare bill have a panel designed to deny care to seniors? Why did the Obama administration lose $550 million on the bankruptcy of Solyndra? Why spending another $500 million to build electric cars in Finland? Why giving another $400 million to Tesla Motors to build electric cars? Why block the Keystone Pipeline? Why are we giving guns to Mexican drug cartels in the Fast and Furious scandal? Why cover it up? Why did our moderator allow Joe Biden to claim that he voted against the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, when in fact he voted for them? I could go on and on. That's just a start. Why didn't we protect our ambassador in Libya? Why did the Obama administration claim that the violence in Libya was caused by a film, when they know in fact it was a planned Al-Qaeda exercise? Why did the Obama administration lie about that? Why do we have the filmmaker who's still in jail? There's some questions, but I'm being stupid. Ordinary Americans aren't supposed to have any input into the political process at this point. I mean, don't I understand that? Ordinary folks, we don't get to have input. It's the liberal establishment that chooses our government. There are rulers. The Democratic Party, people like Nancy Pelosi, and the big liberal, rich liberal media, and the big liberal donors, and Jesse Jackson, and the ACLU, and Planned Parenthood, the big inside the Beltway liberals. They're the rulers, and we're the ruled. Why can't I understand that? I'm telling you guys, listen to me. If we don't elect Romney and Ryan, and we also need to elect as many conservatives to Congress as we possibly can, this is going to be the Soviet Union. The United Soviet Republics. One-party rule, and any dissent, any debate, you go straight to the gulag. Like that poor guy who made the anti-Mohammed film. So much for free speech. Huh, ACLU? This is Professor David Steinberg of thesteinbergfiles.com.